talk a little bit. It's fine. It's just one of those things I can't do it, for the entire 2 minutes because it's just like, okay, it's really, really fucking goofy. But here we go.
Yeah, but you need to put some music back there.
Welcome to the No Persona Zone. This is the Stream of Consciousness podcast.
Here we go. How you doing?
Oh,
One of these days, I need to make a very fast-forwarded version of that, just for a gag.
there you go.
I'm not gonna spoil the gag because I think it'd be funny as hell. Just
to have it happen one time.
Yeah, just to have it happen. Just start the stream one day and say, you know what? Hi, how you doing? We'll start the title and it just goes fast forward like chipmunk speed or something. I don't know.
I think that'd be great.
Oh, hell, I have to mix things up. That's what I do. Anyway, hello to anybody that's watching. No intro today. But what the fuck? Oh, sweet Jesus Christ Almighty! We have Culture Casino on my right, on the right side of the screen over there, and we have Twicked down there doing fuck all with a side of beans. I don't know what he's doing. Anyway,
whoa! Why am I surrounded by penguins? I'm supposed to be surrounded by shit.
That would be. It would be really funny. It would be a lot of fun. I think it would be.
Yeah.
Hey, Twicked is surrounded by chicks.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
bet you're so fucking jealous.
Yes.
That
totally.
That's an engineering mind there, guys.
Well, he is an engineer, so.
I know. Let me tell you, it's been an interesting day.
How'd the day go? Let us know.
Yeah.
It's been busy. Got doing stuff everywhere. Like fixing stuff, breaking stuff, fixing it again. That kind of a day. Editing a video, having a member live stream, doing a 6-minute daily, editing another video.
Live stream. I feel like a jackass. I completely.
You're good. You had work. You do work.
I work all the time. It's crazy.
You work a lot. You do.
I work 5 days a week, man. It's just.
I know.
I like the banner too. By the way, hot chicks for Twicked.
There you go. Yeah.
I don't know if these chicks are particularly uncomfortable with the temperature, but
particularly uncomfortable with the temperature. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Again, more engineering humor.
Oh yeah. Hey, you know what? Dude, Tristan has a very strange sense of humor in person. It's fucking phenomenal.
I like bringing one up in board meetings where, we're trying to sell something to some people. And I say, okay, now what we need for you to do is go put on a turtleneck and play to be a Steve Jobs or pull a Steve Jobs so we can sell our product.
That works.
Yeah. There's a lot of marketing in the engineering world, even inside of our same company. We have to promote our product to other divisions and hey buddy, give us more money so we can build this cool thing.
Yeah. More money, please. More money, please.
Yeah.
God.
More money.
Yeah.
It's kind of warm.
Yeah.
It's still kind of cold up here.
Yeah. Well, I'm in the desert Southwest. So.
Well, I mean, we're still. What are we? We're in the middle of May. It's still technically today. It's kind of rainy, but even still, it's.
I should have.
There was a funny. We should be.
This morning. Sorry.
No. Carry on. It's the.
So I should have stopped. I should have stopped and taken a picture of this, but there's a fountain on my way to work, and clearly it got below freezing last night because the fountain was literally chock-a-block full of snow. I was driving by and I look over, I'm like, holy shit! There's this. It looks like somebody threw 17 snowmen worth of snow in the fountain.
Jesus Christ! Hey, Bone, hello, how you doing?
What's up, Bo?
The Culture in his Miss America way. It was just
that's right.
What is it like? Elbow, wrist, or something like that.
Elbow, wrist, elbow. Wait, there it is.
Wrist. Yeah, like is that shit just like what they tell them to do? Like they just.
It's so you don't wear your shit out.
That's a good point. You know, I sent the link to Wes. Hopefully, he decides to show up. But
well, if he's not working, I mean,
yeah. So I don't know if he's
days go longer sometimes. I mean, you know, I'm but with the 3-hour time difference, I mean, you're like having nighttime, and I'm having like afternoon, evening time. So.
Yeah, you're having good days and everything.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be light out for the next 3 hours, so whatever.
You're under a frost warning last night.
Oh my God. Gracious!
Dare I ask where he's from? He must be from the East Coast. I was like, because it's still pretty cold up here, which is kind of unusual. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, okay. So.
It's not unusual to be loved by anyone.
That reminds me of the movie Mars Attacks.
Yeah.
There's the very end. I mean, well, that's like one of the songs they play throughout of it. At the very end,
yeah,
like, they're standing outside the cave, and all of a sudden the music starts, and the guy's like,
"Oh yeah."
Well,
it's like, have you seen that? You've seen that movie, right? Culture, Mars Attacks.
Which one?
Mars Attacks.
Many moons ago.
Well, it came out in like the mid. Oh God, when did it come out? 95, 96, something like that.
Yeah, I saw it. I can't. There is no way. I only saw it once. I was like, this is ridiculousness.
That's the entire point. It's taking the piss of old 50s alien films. It is. It's one of those you go back and watch now. It's fucking hysterical because it's so stupid. You have like what Jack Nicholson playing like 2 or 3 different roles.
Yeah. I mean, I love it.
And he gets killed. No, he plays 2 different. I think he plays 2 different roles, and he gets killed in both of them.
Yeah,
he's playing the president, and he's playing. He's playing. Oh God, that cowboy guy in Las Vegas.
Yep.
You know.
Yeah, the pure ridiculousness of it all.
Oh God, it's so much fun. It's so much great. The fucking aliens are great too. There's one scene in that movie that sent me into stitches when I was a kid. You know, stupid humor. It's cartoonish as hell.
Was it the one where they had the translator running down the street going, "Stop, we come in peace"?
No. That's a good one, but that's a subtle moment. No, it's the nuclear missile scene.
Oh jeez.
Where you have the stereotypical Republican-esque war hawk general, saying nuke them, and then you have Jack Nicholson basically setting the nukes up, and the alien mothership sends out this little probe.
Yeah.
This little floating probe.
Yeah, and
it goes down. It goes down. Meets it. It basically stands in front of the missile, hits the missile, and it swallows the entire explosion into this stupid little red balloon on top of the little drone. The drone is fine. It's the drone after the drone is just sitting there with this big fucking yellow. This big like red balloon thing on top. It turns around and goes back up to the ship. Like, what the fuck?
And then the
punchline. The Martian ambassador looks at the screen. It's like, oh God. Maybe I could find it. Actually, give me a second.
I love it. I mean, I can just explain it. It's hilarious.
Yes, but it's better if we can explain it. But it's one of those things like you have to see it to appreciate it. And I don't mind getting the ding for it, just for this because this is so fucking.
If you get the ding for it, that means YouTube's paying attention to you. YouTube senpai noticed you.
All right, here we go. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Give me a second here. I sound like fucking Joe Pesci from Lethal Weapon. Like, okay.
Oh, William Jackson just watched it 2 months ago.
Okay. Share screen. Chrome tab. Here we go. All right. You guys can see this, right?
Yep.
Okay. Theater mode. All right. Here we go. Oh, wait. No. Shit. I made a cardinal mistake. I made the boomer mistake.
Didn't share audio.
I did not share the audio. I'm like, wait a second. As I was looking at the volume, I'm like, wait a second. No, this is not. All right. Now we're going. You ready for this? This is like fucking absolutely amazing.
Mr. President, I need you to sign this.
I think his wife just got killed before this scene.
Something.
Testament. It is in order to deploy our nuclear capabilities, sir.
Hello, hello.
2, 1, 5.
The alien just gets fucking. Jeez.
Culture's over there shaking his head like, what is wrong with you people? Oh, goodness
That's
Christ.
That's
That is, oh, God.
It's amusing. I could chuckle.
It's one of those movies that you have to realize from the beginning it's taking the piss out of I want to say 80s, but it's not 80s, like 50s B movies. You know, everybody with their bouffant hair and the gung ho soldiers and the Warhawk general. It's like it's all played the fuck up.
Yeah.
And it's fucking. The Martians are the absolute best, and then there's a part in the film where they're going throughout fucking Las Vegas. They have the fucking translator from earlier, and as they're going, you know, making their noises, the translator's like, what does it say? It's
Stop!
like,
we come in
like,
peace.
It's like don't run. We are your friends, in that eerie robotic voice.
Yeah.
As they're killing people, like what the fuck?
Yeah, they use disintegrator rays in that game. Yeah.
But later, say one of the best parts is they get to Las Vegas, and it's like they're interrupting everything. There's one point where Tom Jones was where we get back to where it reminded him of Mars Attacks. Tom Jones is singing that. Yeah.
To be loved by anyone.
Tom Jones is on the Vegas stage singing that, and all of a sudden these fucking Martians are behind him singing into the microphone. And then Tom Jones just stops and looks. The aliens keep singing for a second. And they kind of have this like confused look, like and they just start killing everybody. It's like if he'd have kept going, they would have just kept fucking singing with him. Just
Jeez.
Oh, I love movie villains like that. I really do.
Yeah.
Some of the greatest movie villains are the villains that are malicious, but they're just joining in for the shenanigans because it's fun.
Yeah.
Gremlins are a good representation of that.
Yeah. Speaking of Gremlins, why haven't they tried to reboot that yet?
Oh fuck! Do not. No, I will mute you if you say that. Fuck off.
I predict Gremlins reboot.
I'm sorry. What was he saying? He's having technical difficulties. Say that again. I'm sorry. What?
I said they're probably Gremlins.
Again, he's breaking up. He's having
he's breaking up terribly. Yeah, it's okay though.
I'm breaking up like somebody asking about Taiwan to the WHO.
There you go.
Yeah, it's like, what do you recognize Taiwan as a nation? All of us, it's like, do you recognize Taiwan as a country of its own? And it's just like, it's just like, technical difficulties. Like, I'm sorry. Could you say that again?
Yeah. No, just move on. Let's ask a different question.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's like, so what you say about Taiwan? You bring up Taiwan again. It's just like, and you can see his shoulder kind of move a little bit. It's just like,
you could tell he was a fucking puppet. It was hilarious.
It's a fucking, shit. Gremlins 2 is better than Gremlins? No, it's not. Gremlins 2 is fun, but Gremlins 1 works because it's a fucking Christmas. It's at Christmas time.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it works so well. One, because of the horror. You ever seen horror Christmas horror movies, Culture?
Such as
Santa's Sleigh.
Well, I mean, I don't know if you're a fan of horror movies anyway. Okay.
Horror films, yes. I mean, but again, I mean, my thoughts on horror versus other people's, like some of these people call like Paranormal Activity and stuff, like those like horror films or like Blair Witch Project.
Yeah, they're not horror. They're PG.
It's really
PG-13.
Halloween,
it's horror shit.
Horror film. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, horror film.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre is fucking.
The
original one is like fucking.
Anything with Pinhead in it, horror film. I
don't know. Some of Pinhead.
Yeah, some of those later ones are a little touch and miss.
Pet Cemetery.
The first one was good. The second one, I don't.
I mean, Carrie.
Which are we talking? The original.
The original.
The original. What's her name? Sissy Spacek. Is it Sissy Spacek?
Yeah, I think so.
That played.
She was also in The Shining, right?
I don't know.
Yeah, she was Nicholson's wife in The Shining.
Yeah, Sissy Spacek. Was she in The Shining?
Pretty sure that's who played Nicholson's wife, the author's wife.
I don't know. I don't think that was her. Someone looked
You
like her.
You think I'm wrong?
Her. I don't think you're wrong. I've never actually seen The Shining.
Oh wow!
I've seen parts. I've seen bits and pieces of it, but I don't think. No, it's Shelley. It's Shelley Duvall.
Shelley Duvall. Yeah, I get those two mixed up all the time. Yep. Nope. You're right. Yep.
Let's say because like that's and see the thing. I recognize Sissy Spacek. I've seen her. It's like Sissy Spacek has had that classic look about her, and it's like she's one of those women. It's like her face when you see it because she's. I don't want to say she's unique, but she has a very, you know what I mean. You know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
A very.
She's easy to identify.
Yeah. Yes. There we go. It's not like she wasn't a looker at all. It's just she's one of those characters that has that distinct look, like it's like Nicolas Cage, like you fucking know who it is.
Yeah.
And Shelley, I don't know what film Shelley Duvall. Oh God, what films has Shelley Duvall played in? She played in so fucking many. I'm sorry, Culture. You got anything? I'm kind of rambling. I know.
Well, no. I mean, I'm a huge horror fan. I mean, you have to consider that I started doing haunts when I was in my mid-teens. So.
Haunts.
Yeah. Setting up haunted attractions, haunted houses, haunted barns, haunted stuff, haunted theaters, haunted opera houses. Yeah.
Incredible Gremlins was a success. It opened the same day as Ghostbusters. Hey, you know what?
Back then, though, okay, so consider this. When you had tentpole films or giant films like that, there was enough room in the marketplace for both of them because everybody would go see one on Friday night and then everybody would go see one on Saturday night. And, and then the kids would go with their parents on the matinee on Sunday.
Yeah.
And it's just, and it worked. And you would get 1, 2, 3 films released all in the span of the same month, and it was perfectly fine. And then Hollywood started to release things on a weekly basis and compete against each other. And still they were obviously somewhat successful because, it was important for you to get your big summer movie out there. Well, this year, the video that I did today was for that very reason. There really are only 2 tentpole quality films that are being released this summer. One of them is Fast and Furious 9, and the other is Black Widow. Black Widow is going to underperform because Fast 9 releases 2 weeks before it. And it'll have a 30-day window in the theaters, so it's going to take a small bite out of the first week of Black Widow, because usually films have a 3-week cycle of being, significant in the marketplace. And, I didn't want to get too technically difficult in the video, but there's a lot of that. Yeah, that was not a good move. And I liked The Last Action Hero, but
it was cheesy as all hell.
Yeah, I know. That's why I liked it.
One of my guilty pleasures.
Action Hero, but he doesn't like Mars Attacks.
I said it was fine.
One of my guilty pleasures are those Kevin Costner movies that he made in the 90s. What he did Waterworld and The Postman.
Not Bull Durham. So he had, because he did Bull Durham, he did Tin Cup.
Tin Cup is a good film.
He did Field of Dreams.
But
3 great Costner projects. Then he did like you said, The Postman, and he did Waterworld. And you know what? I think Waterworld is overly criticized. I think that kind of a fun film if you approach it that way.
I like The Postman too, but the reason I brought that one up is because The Postman came out the same day as the Titanic.
Oh, did it?
Right.
Yeah. And I don't know if it would be like able to earn that money that Titanic did, but like, they blamed that for it not making that much money. Atlantean, where'd you go? So, bruh, so you planning to go see any of these movies that are coming out?
What?
Well,
am I?
Are you asking me or him?
Whoever's listening, Culture, you can answer first. I wasn't paying attention.
Cricket. You want me to answer or
that was you. Yeah, that was you.
Sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. I missed that part. Okay, so yeah. Yes, absolutely, and they both have Costner in them. Yeah, but what was the thing I was going to say? Oh, so I don't know that I'll see Black Widow. I mean, I don't even know if I can muster the gumption to care. And Fast 9, I will probably not go to the theater to see. I'll probably watch at home.
Yeah.
And I'll try to buy it on physical media because, hey, eventually I'm sure I'll see Black Widow, but I can't be troubled to care about it.
I mean,
and that's not a good place considering that up until a few years ago, I mean, I loved the Marvel films. So that just shows you how badly they've stumbled.
I mean, that and like, and you had what was it? Sorry, I forgot. Infinity War, right? Which was essentially like the best movie of them. And then and honestly, I wouldn't say that Endgame was a letdown, but I felt slightly let down, but I wasn't impressed. I amazed. I wasn't like, it was definitely. But it's like after that, I kind of lost interest. It's okay. I've seen the end, right? Like that's it. That's to me, I felt like I've seen.
They did in the characters that they needed.
Yeah.
And what they should have done is just put Cap on a shelf until Evans realized that he needs the paycheck because nobody's going to hire him to do shit anymore.
Yeah.
And you never get rid of Robert Downey Jr. Dude, you let him become his dad, and then he births a kid who is also named something Stark with Pepper Potts, and and then you have the cycle repeat itself, and you get another Iron Man.
Well, actually,
or something could have happened to the kid from Iron Man 3. Yeah. Right. and Tony could end up adopting him, and the audience would accept that as a new Iron Man character. But here's this is the problem. They don't know when to lean into the comic book lore or get away from it. And what they elected to do instead, like has been said a million times, they ran away from 40 years of lore they could have covered way too fast.
Can I say I'm going to posit. I'm going to posit a different theory. It involves the idea of the lore itself. The other involves a sort of meta observation of Hollywood trends. The first one I'm going to cover is the meta of the Hollywood trends. When you look at certain decades of films, each decade and a half has had a boom of certain films. It's like in the early 70s and everything. It was like the westerns, the 80s with the John Wayne, not John Wayne, but I don't know how. Well, you had the 50s and 60s westerns with John Wayne, and then you had the Clint Eastwood type films with the gruff, take no bullshit, grim character, and they would stretch out for about 10, 12 years. And towards the end of that cycle, people would eventually get tired of it because they'd run out of steam, run out of ideas, start repeating themselves, and it would just get run into the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And we saw it in the 80s with slasher films. With the Halloween sort of brought it to the mainstream. There were slasher films before it, but it brought that to the forefront. And then you had your Friday the 13th, you had your Nightmare on Elm Street, you had a bunch of other, you had the big hitters, and then you had the knockoffs in between. I think that the idea of the Marvel films are just sort of hitting that stride anyway. It's been 15 years, that these superhero films have just been the craze. 12 to 15 years, something like that. It's been a long fucking time. So on the meta side, they're about ready to hit they're a little bit past their expiration date. And they're going to eventually run out of luster. If the recent release of the DC films and the Snyder Cut haven't already added the final nails to the coffin, I think they have. That I think they may have put the kibosh on the idea of superhero films for a certain length of time.
Yeah,
that's the Hollywood meta. And then there's the idea of the lore itself. I don't know if I don't think they planned out how they were going to go, how far they were going to go with these films. I know they sort of teased with the Avengers and everything, with Iron Man and Captain America. Which one was it? Iron Man or Captain America that teased Thor? No, it was Iron Man 2 that teased Thor.
It was Iron Man 2 that led into Thor. The biggest problem they had is Thor: The Dark World was a terrible film. And in the third film, Thor film, Ragnarok, they leaned into too much of the zany. And that was 100% because of that director.
Well,
originally, I thought that was going to be Planet Hulk. When I saw the trailer, I was like, oh, that's cool, Planet Hulk. But that's not what it was.
Well, I mean, you also got to remember, there's like in that entire cycle, from Iron Man 1 to, in that entire cycle, there's been 23, 24 films. Of course you're going to have a few duds in between. That's not necessarily the point. But the overall arc of the films, they were following a certain story. They hit the first Avengers one, which is basically a build up, from Iron Man 1 and 2 and Thor and Captain America. And then you had the Avengers, which is like the first, it's like, okay, everybody's together. And then
No, I was just going to say there have been 23 films. They plan 17 more, which includes the ones that are about to be released.
Well, I'm not talking about what they planned after this.
Right.
Because we were talking about the fact that no one seems to give a fuck about any later Marvel films coming out. you know. And I think I'm of the idea, and I stand by this idea. One, the Hollywood meta that I told you. It's been 15 years since the superhero films have been a trend. The market is fucking oversaturated. It's like the video game market with Assassin's Creed. But, you know, the market is oversaturated. Most of the films are good, so that oversaturation can be ignored for the most part. Which leads me into the whole idea with the lore. There's two parts of it. The story that they told spanned, 23, I don't know how to say, is it 23 films they have so far, including Infinity War and Endgame?
Yeah, it's 23 with between 15 and 17, depending upon who you believe, that are either about to be released or in.
Well, I'm not talking about the new
new
stuff. I'm just talking about the last decade and a half span. It's like 23 films, right?
Yeah.
Culture.
No, yeah,
I'm not sure.
No, yeah, you're right. Yeah, you were right. 23.
Well, I wasn't sure because I can't tell you how many I've seen, but I just wanted to be sure that my numbers are correct, and I trust you for that one. So as it's like you have these entire waves of films. It's like the first batch leading up to the Avengers, and then you have some sequels leading up to the Avengers: Age of Ultron. And then you have more, which eventually lead up to Infinity War. So you have all of these films spanning, again, fucking almost a decade and a half, and they started hitting their stride and getting really serious with it by about, just as they were leading up to Avengers: Age of Ultron, and then they were going into the third act when it came to Avengers: Infinity War. So when you have that solid buildup of films, and then you have Avengers, you had Civil War. That was technically the third act. And then that eventually led into films
Infinity War.
Infinity War.
Yeah.
So when you have this entire buildup, you see the strain, the climax of the arc happens right around Civil War. It introduces that rift. It sets up for them needing to come back together in Infinity War, sets up Black Panther. It sets up, it brings in Ant-Man and them to the official Avengers mix and all of that.
Yeah.
And then you have, practically the ultimate capstone with Avengers: Infinity War. It's like the ultimate setup and perhaps the ultimate payoff. And it's like, that's how, it's like all of this buildup. And then the second to last film, it's like all of that buildup is paid off and boom, the bad guy wins. You know what I mean? So you have this entire arc that it was actually going somewhere, and you could feel it was going somewhere.
Just to kind of add a little my flavor there. One of my biggest criticisms for like the entire early part of Avengers was that there felt to be no cost, right? Like it felt to me they were never going to kill off a character because like, if they kill off a character, that's profit that's gone.
Yeah.
And games like, yeah. See that guy over there? Yeah, look at him die. Yeah.
There were no stakes in it because Well, see, it makes me question how far they planned this ahead. I really don't think they planned that far ahead. I don't believe that they pulled to George Lucas.
Yeah.
And tried to plan out ahead of time after they made the initial 3. I don't think they planned that far ahead.
Mm-hmm.
But sorry, my nose itches. Culture was AFK for a second.
Yeah.
But you have it's like, that's why I said when you get to the middle part leading up to Age of Ultron, which it brought in more characters, it brought in Vision, it started adding stakes to it. It basically started exploring the characters' relationships now that you know who they were.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And one of the biggest moments that was eventually used was the scene where they were messing around with Thor's hammer.
Yeah.
Remember that scene?
Yeah, where
they're all in Tony's fucking house and they're just drinking and having fun in there. It's like trying to pull the hammer up.
Yeah.
And then, Cap actually almost succeeds and you kind of see Thor like, what the hell? It's like it's building up their relationship, and then later on you see Vision pick it up, no fucking problem.
Yeah.
And it's like the buildup was there, and it's like, and everyone just looked, and they just like,
yeah,
they didn't miss. It's like, carries on, and I think that was eventually brought back in Endgame.
Yeah,
as more of I don't remember Endgame because I didn't watch it all the way through.
Yeah. But
it's like I started watching it and I started listening to it, but it's like it's like, okay, one, you have fucking Captain Marvel in there acting like she's the fucking important addition to the Avengers. Like the moment she fucking shows up, they're talking about how they had trouble finding Ultron, and she's like, "Well, you didn't have me," and I'm thinking to myself, "Fuck off," know.
Yeah.
Like that was my first thought. It's like, oh, you sweet, like fuck off.
To put the whole series into like culture war terms, like that's going on right now. I mean, when the thing starts,
can we not?
Well, no,
please?
Because you just brought it up.
Well, I brought it up because her character annoyed the fuck out of me. That's it.
I'm just trying to. I don't know. I'm just trying to explain why I think part of the downfall is here, and part of it is it started in 2008, 2009 with Iron Man, and at that time these kind of politics were almost nowhere to be found.
Yes, but see, I don't.
But no, let me finish.
I'll let you finish, but I didn't want to go this far.
Oh, but I'm just saying, like by the time Infinity War comes out, people are already like sensitive to like, is this woke? Should I even bother to go see it? Right? And then you have that one scene, those scenes that you're talking about in Endgame where he's like, well, you didn't have me, or she's not alone scene, right? And like that just confirmed it to everybody. So it's just like,
but this is the thing. It's not a matter of woke. I know politics are playing a role in it. That's the Hollywood meta shit. I just didn't want to talk about it because there was more to the Marvel series than just politics trying to influence. When you actually examine the series, politics didn't fucking touch that series until damn near the end when they were running out of steam.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It didn't even come close to playing a pivotal role in everything because the people in charge had their ideas.
But what I'm trying to say is the overriding thing that a lot of people are going through at the time is like, this was in video games as a thing. Like, is this game going to be woke? Is movie going to be woke? Or
yes, that's a cultural
I'm just saying, yeah, but that's what I'm saying. The end game kind of confirmed it for a lot of people, and that's why we're going to see this decline. It's like, is it going to be woke itself? The answer is yes.
Yes, I know, but look, I didn't want to go that route because that's an obvious that's an obvious reason why the series is going to be downturning. It's like that's like the fucking that's the low hanging fruit wild card that everybody picks, and it's like, yes, we get it. The culture war is going on. Hollywood's going woke. In other news, the grass is green and the sky is fucking blue. We get it. But again, that's more of a recent thing. I don't mean to get irritated, but it's like everybody's fucking talking about that with modern films. And it's like, give it a fucking rest already. There's more to what goes wrong with films than them being woke.
Yeah, but I'm just trying to give you like at that time, that's what was going on, right? Like
yes, I know.
You can't separate that out and not talk about it. It's like it's really what was going on, and that's
you can separate it because Captain Marvel came out after Infinity War came out. That was a late addition that was trying to shoehorn her character in to Endgame.
Yeah, but she was actually hinted at in Infinity War.
I don't fucking remember.
Yeah, at the very end, in the post-credits scene, Samuel L. Jackson has like a beeper with friggin' Captain Marvel symbol on it.
I don't remember that part, but it's just talking about the idea of the films as a whole, discounting the woke bullshit that's got everybody on edge. Again, much of the overriding arc of the story was already played out before that shit even tried to become prominent. That's what I was saying. And then you have Infinity War, which was basically, the ultimate capstone of it. I think the major problem that they how you said Endgame was kind of disappointing. I think a grand part of it is because they blew their load with Infinity War. It's like you can have an epic story like Infinity War and then still follow it up with a better story, right? You can, but I'm just saying. Well, oh my god, I'm trying to think. When you have the buildup you did that Infinity War did, and you end on that note, it's kind of hard to do that again, have the same impact.
Right.
Because
but they're going to have an even harder time than that, Atlantean, because they have abandoned all of the quality source material in favor of the garbage from 2014 onward.
Right. Well,
so
yes, this is future prospects. I'm just talking about
right.
I'm talking about the current downfall, the likely disinterest for after Infinity War. Because when you look at Endgame, Endgame did well, but overall, you can kind of tell it wasn't as well received as Infinity War. And a large part of it is Infinity War was a really good cap-off. You had the bad guy win. He killed half the fucking planet. Or was it half the universe? I don't remember. I think it was like half
of the universe, half of the known universe. Yeah.
Something like that. It's like, you have stakes like that. It's like, holy shit, what did you just watch? And then when you have Endgame start off like it did, discounting Brie Larson and her, plank of wood being there, discounting her. She didn't contribute much to the story at all anyway. She was there for the sake of being there, is the wonderful thing about it. But it's like, when you have the way Infinity War started, or not Infinity War, Endgame started, they kill the guy that they were trying to kill in the first 15, 20 minutes. Like, okay, well, what are you going to do now? And much of Endgame was just it was like a post-game MacGuffin hunt to try and undo everything that was going on. You have no stakes there because you're going back in time, and the villain that you're trying to stop is a villain who's never met the characters that are trying to stop him.
Yeah,
it's like you ever heard of the trope? You ever heard of the trope, the giant flee from nowhere or the giant flee from outer space? It's usually the idea is this, just out of nowhere, this big hulking thing becomes like a final enemy, like out of fucking nowhere. When you look at it in context of Endgame, that's kind of like what the Avengers were to Thanos. Like, he's never met them yet in that past, and he's like, I don't even know who the fuck you guys are. What are you trying to do? Because they killed his future self.
Right.
So I don't know. It's just they kind of deflated themselves, and I think that's part of the downfall. Discounting, the culture war shit that everybody talks about. I know it's deeply ingrained in everything, but
it only became to a certain extent there from essentially right before Black Panther onward. It's been a problem. Like I said, the prospects for Black Widow are poor now because that film should have been the film that was put in place of Captain America in the timeline.
It probably should have been.
Yeah. And it would have been a much better film, would have made a lot of money. And, it wouldn't have had quite the politics that are going to be in this one. Then on top of that, the only thing I think that'll perform well in the next phase of Marvel is going to be Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
I doubt
because they won't be able to get too far away from the source material on that. And, that'll be good, except that, if they lean into the storyline that was supposed to be there with Wanda, then they're going to have to figure out some way to fix that. I know they had to rewrite the film script because they rewrote the TV scripts in WandaVision. But the other thing was Marvel's is going to suck.
Yeah.
I just don't see a lot of quality Marvel films in the near future.
Right. Well, and that's part of the reason why I was trying to, accentuate the entirety of the original. I don't want to say the original, but that major arc that was going on for the entire.
Huge. Yeah.
It's like when you have such a capstone with Infinity War, because Infinity War, the ultimate stakes were present. If Thanos gets that gauntlet, everybody's dead. Like, quite literally, half the universe is dead. There's no stakes after that. Endgame was kind of a limp dick because there probably was a way to make a story, that would be perfect like that. But they tried to use time travel, and using time travel in films is very tricky. And most of the time, nobody gets it right.
They didn't do a good job because everything happened the way that you would have anticipated to happen. With the exception of killing off the people you shouldn't have killed off. Because if you wanted to make this thing go forward, you needed those characters. You know, and again, I mean, they're actually afraid of the characters they portray, that they actually tout that they want to be part of their stuff. I mean, Black Widow is a powerful female, you know, not because she's overly strong or anything, but because she's freaking badass, and she's also redhead. So I mean, they killed two birds with one stone when they're going to replace her with. Go ahead.
I say wasn't like in the terms of the actual characters, weren't Hawkeye and Scarlet not Scarlet, but I want to say Scarlett Johansson, but I meant to say
Natasha.
Black Widow. Yeah, Natasha. There we go. Black Widow. It's like weren't they just technically badass? I mean, all of them are technically badass normal people, but I mean, like of the utmost of like the most extreme cases, these guys are those two characters are badass normal characters. You have Hawkeye, which is effectively, you know, he's a guy that shoots a bow and arrow. He doesn't have any special equipment outside of that. And he can fucking revolver ocelot that shit any way he wants. And then you have Natasha, who is, you know, super secret deadly spy.
Right.
You know, like out of all the characters, those two are your I don't want to say your token badass normals, but they're your token badass normal characters.
Actually, it's but you're pretty balanced between mortals and superheroes in the Marvel universe, because you look at it this way: Scott, Ant-Man, he's a normal human. Excuse me, not Batman. Tony Stark, he is a normal human. Natasha, normal human. Hawkeye, normal human. You know, you have a bunch of normal humans. Falcon, normal human, that are, you know, part of a superhero team. Well, they just are really, really good at doing what they do.
Well, yes, that is, and I was trying to differentiate when I said badass normals, because obviously all of them are mostly human. You know, they're mortal. They have their scruples, but a majority of the characters have some asset that helps them along.
Right. Yeah.
You know, Natasha and, you know, Scarlet Witch is naturally gifted.
Yeah.
You have Vision, who's an artificial being inside of an artificial body, powered by a stone. You know, so he's like already godlike, but you know, obviously most of them are badass normals anyway, but like in relation to the rest of them, you have, you know, Black Widow and Hawkeye. They're two secret agents. They don't have any extra additional powers to them. They don't have any special suits. They don't have any special shields. They're doing all of that shit and keeping up with your Iron Man, your Captain America, your fucking Thunder God, you from fucking where's he from?
Asgard.
Yeah, your Thunder God from Asgard, who's kicking, you know, who's basically be all end all of fucking superpower. And you have a guy that transformed into a big hulking beast, and these two normal people, no extra additional items, no special fancy equipment, just their skills and their bow and arrows. Like, you have two of the most badass characters. They would have done well with their own film.
Well, and exactly, and you're not wrong there. You're not wrong there. But like you said, I mean, they had opportunity, and now that they have the X-Men back in the fold,
Jesus
you know,
Christ.
they could have done even better. But they abandoned all of the stories where the X-Men and the Avengers, you know, kind of cross over, because they jumped ahead in the lore. They've done some really dumb crap, and they should pay for it. Oh, and the new Spider-Man stuff is total garbage. This next Spider-Man film is going to be
Spider-Man.
I refuse to call him Spider-Man, because Spider-Man.
I don't like Tom Holland.
He's not a good Spider-Man. He's not a good Spider-Man. He's a Spider-Man.
I don't like the way I don't know.
Teddy Spider-Man.
I have my issues with the Spider-Man film anyway. The Spider-Man Homecoming shit. I hate it. It's fun, but at the same time, I don't care for it, because it's like, it's not necessarily Spider-Man. It's Spider-Man who's being parented by Iron Man. Like, come on. I don't know. But yeah, you know, back to what we were talking about before, that sort of the downfall, it's kind of a mix of all of them. And again, discounting the culture war shit. Because, I know it's important, but at the same time, sky is blue, grass is green, water makes you wet. It's going to affect the culture war shit is affecting everything, not just the Marvel films, which is why I wasn't talking about it. That's exactly why I wanted to, because it's affecting everything negatively, and it's it's not necessarily fair to hold late day shit happening, to everything against Marvel when much of what's causing the downfall of Marvel, of the cinematic universe, is the fact that they practically ended their story with Infinity War. They effectively ended the main part of the story with Infinity War. Endgame was just wrapping everything up to try and get things back to normal, but they aren't really normal. It was a sad attempt to salvage characters that they didn't want to kill off because, like Culture said, oh no, we got to make money with these people.
Yeah.
Yep.
But it would have been, had they left it like that, it would have been a perfect end to the series. It's like, okay, end it here. Don't make any more.
Yep.
Anyway, I forgot where we were going with that rant. That was fun.
It was a good time. All right. I wish I didn't have to go make supper, but I look at it this way, and I think that this will sum up all of my thoughts here. They had a direction that they were headed, and they abandoned it to service something that was no longer the material, or was no longer going to allow them to continue on with the material. And I think that was their ultimate demise, because even after, like you said, the so-called capstone, which is Civil War or Infinity War, they could have gone further had they done a better job with Endgame and put some characters into hiatus mode and moved on from there with better lore stories. I mean, there's a lot to be told. You could lean immediately into the Final Four, the Fantastic Four. You could lead into the X-Men. There's a lot of stuff that they could lean into, right? So, but they can't now. They just can't. Anyway, but I've got to slide out. I always have fun doing these, and I love to listen to you rant. It's a good time.
Before you go, too, I actually wanted to. The thing I wanted to share with you earlier.
Yeah.
Have you seen this, Tristan?
Yeah, I've seen that one.
I saw this. I was saying to you behind the scenes earlier. I find it absolutely hysterical because it's like it looks like a member of the Village People.
There are a lot of things. There are a lot of things wrong with this. I mean, you have a traditional, feather dance costume thing, in certain cultures, in certain Native American cultures. I mean, and if you talk to an actual Native American, some of them are going to hate this, and some of them are going to be okay with it, and some of them are going to be, well, whatever. I mean, it's not like there have been incorrect depictions of every single type of
person on the planet.
Yeah. So, it is what it is, but I thought it was absolutely ridiculous. I have said as much. I think that it is, they are leaning heavily into stereotypes that I'm uncomfortable with, but it's not me. I'll call them ridiculous and uncomfortable, but it's not me to call it out directly. I mean, if you're a person of this tribe, maybe this is where you rise up and say, stop it. And that's what it's going to take. It's going to take people to say, you know what, stop it. Just stop it.
Anyway. I don't know. I think this is fucking hysterical.
It is. It's funny.
It does. It's like,
it's not funny it's not funny for the reasons that, people would want it to be. It's funny because it's like you are doing the exact crap you accuse everybody else of doing. So it's just,
no. This is funny because it's legitimately funny looking to me. It's
that
like,
too. I mean,
it's like
that.
I'm going to cop with you really straight. I find the idea of stereotypes funny because you generally know you generally when they're used for comedy, you know they're over exaggerated.
Yeah, well, that's what it's supposed to be there for. Yeah.
And that I think it's funny because it's so fucking absurd. It's like I could understand how people could find it offensive, but at the same time, that is in a realm so absurd. You're like, how do you find that offensive?
But also consider this: stereotypes are in place for a reason, Atlantean. They are there to immediately give you access to a character. You still have to do some character development, but if you lean into a stereotype, a gruff military sergeant, guess what? That's easier to freaking do. Not only is it easier to play the character, it's there, or the smarmy teacher. Or the exactly, OC Steve, or the overly zealous librarian, those kinds of things you can lean into.
Oh yeah,
but it is what it is. So, but anyway, like I said, I'm with you, man. I've been with you on a lot of this stuff, that, but I do need to slide out. You guys had a lot of fun. I hope you guys have a great night and you continue to go on without me. Everybody in the chat, be sure you're subscribed to my man Atlantean if you're just passing by. Also check out if he's available, hopefully he can pop in on my my 2K celebration stream on Saturday. I know you work, but hopefully you can at least slide by. Other than that, everybody have a great night. Love you all. I'm headed for comics late tonight. Peace out.
And I'm sure most of y'all watching know who he is, so go fucking sub to him if for some reason you haven't, all 7 of you. Oh, goodness. But it's like, going back to the idea of stick, because like I said, I was fucking laughing my ass off at that. It's funny to me. And it kind of, it kind of boils to something that, something else, another certain set of views that I find funny. And I have to be very careful how I say this live on the air. But there are certain ideas, not the actions behind them that are funny, but the idea of them is just so preposterous. It's funny. Yeah, I think you know where I'm going with this.
No, I don't.
Yeah. Think WS, White Hoods.
Oh, yeah.
That type of ideology.
Yeah.
And I say the idea because obviously, shit that goes along with it is terrible shit. It's not funny. The shit people do in the name of that twisted ideology is horrible. But at the fundamental core, the idea that, and just for an example, the idea that some pasty white peckerwood of European descent that has all the constitution of a tomato on a fucking radiator when they're out in the sun tries to say that they're the superior ones, that they have the superior genetics, is absolutely hysterical. Like, you guys can't even stand in the sun for any length of time without turning into a fucking baked lobster. It's like the idea of it is funny. I mean, obviously, the idea of anybody thinking they're superior, because of race and all that shit is absolutely hysterical.
You want to know the truth is that there's a lot less white of these kind of people around than they want.
Well, no, I know there is. I'm not saying it's a widespread problem. I was pointing to that one because it's the easiest one to talk about.
Yeah.
For good and ill, generally speaking. It's the idea of it that is preposterous. The idea of it that is worthy of mockery. Mm-hmm. And again, it's not just our pasty white peckerwood brethren. It's anybody who thinks like that. But I have to be careful how I say that. One, because on YouTube, if I say anything, wrong, it's going to get taken out of context. It's probably going to get taken out of context anyway, but it's just, that's why I'm emphasizing the core ideas behind it are preposterous. Like you're not,
so I just want to bring up something funny, somewhat related, but not really.
Yeah, go for it.
So there's this, I don't know, I only started watching him recently, Quentin Reviews, and he did a review.
For fuck's sake. I know
anyway.
That.
Yeah, but he's not the best, but he did one on Ancient Aliens, right? And he tweeted out, he said, it turns out that Ancient Aliens don't like white people because they're the only ones that they didn't help do anything. Something like that. And because it was making fun of the fact that ancient aliens never did anything in any sort of European or country, right? So yeah, he actually made it a T-shirt. You can buy this. Said aliens don't like white people or something.
Yeah, I look. I know who Quentin Reviews is. I think
you don't have to like him to find it that funny.
I don't find that funny. I find it.
You don't find it funny?
No, I don't. I don't find it funny because I'm familiar with his very smug and pretentious SJW sense of humor. I've been in. See, here's the thing. I've been into it with that asshole before.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. The motherfucker has me blocked on Twitter because I said something he didn't like.
I mean, I'm not saying he's good. I just thought that was hilarious. That wasn't really necessarily an SJW thing. It was literally like, apparently aliens don't like white people because they're the only things that can only race that can build things.
I did.
Right? Like, that's not really.
No, I know. I didn't say it was an SJW thing. I'm saying I don't like him because that's his style of humor.
Yeah.
He's arrogant. He's pretentious. He views himself as some fancy auteur or someone above the status that he actually is.
I think I'd watched one video and another one, but like I thought his review of the Ancient Aliens was pretty funny. Like honestly,
I don't care for him.
For stuff that I just had on the background at work, it wasn't bad.
Yeah. So long as you don't go down the rabbit hole, because most of that shit, there's a lot of people. What are you doing? What is that noise? Yeah, stop that. Stop that. Please stop that. Because I'm hearing myself. It's like, who the fuck is playing the ratchet strap? Like, what the fuck? Is that somebody out back tying up lumber to their truck? Or is that, in my fucking headset? It's like, is there a Hammond lumber ad going on in my videos? What the fuck?
I can go get my new bicycle and I can click the tire on that for you. That has a very pleasing click to it.
I was half expecting you to say "ching" the bell.
Yeah, I don't have a bell yet.
SJWs obviously think white superheroes are superior, which is why they race swap them.
That's why I thought of that Quentin Reviews quote. That's why I thought of that Quentin Reviews quote.
Let's not. I'm not. I'm not gonna get. I'm tired. I'm just so tired of it.
Yeah, no,
I'm burnt out. I'm burnt out of the discussion because the discussion doesn't really go anywhere with most of the time. I mean,
a lot of people don't believe me, but like I've said, and I will maintain that because now Trump is gone, we're going to be fully exposed to the SJW menace, and it's going to burn away faster than if Trump had been reelected.
Yeah, because they don't. The people that didn't like Trump, got their wish. That Trump is out. And you can see some of these fucking lunatics on Twitter. Yeah, I'm saying because I say these lunatics because they'll go into every fucking any political post. They'll go in there and they'll say usually one's about Biden, pointing out how Biden is. I mean, aside from pointing out that Biden looks like a puppet and is dementia riddled.
Yeah. But before even getting into the politics, I'm just saying that Trump was kind of a shield from this SJW shit.
Oh no, Trump was a shield from all of it.
Yeah,
Trump was a shield from, but it's not even really talking about the politics of it, but just the idea of what you're saying. These people are so hard up about Trump that they will go into posts about Biden and criticizing Biden and saying, at least he's better than Trump. Like you dumb motherfucker. You voted out a puppet with a bunch of how do I say with a bunch of living impaired people helping you out, and I'm not saying there's voter. I was not saying anything about false election. None of that. I promise.
Yeah. But no, I was trying to keep it more culture war, right? Like, and it's really that
but
Trump was a target, right? Now that he's not a target. They don't really have a target, and now they're going after random shit, and they're waking up.
Trump
more
is
people.
Absolutely still a target.
Yes, but he's a pointless target because most people don't care anymore.
Right? Most people don't care. The people that don't care are the people that never cared about it to begin with.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say, now that Trump is gone,
I know
people are starting to realize that these woke politics are actually really fucking terrible. Right. What Trump and because first of all, they don't have Trump to hate on him. The average person doesn't care about Trump anymore. He's gone. So now they're going to be going on, oh, so what, wait, why are we canceling Dr. Seuss now? Oh, why are we canceling, like, why, like, it's now that Trump's not in the news cycle, people are now realizing all the other shit these same people who wanted Trump gone also want. And it is like, so Trump has basically lit these things. Yeah. Yeah, an older.
They replaced the old white guy with the bad toupee with an older Muppet that is losing his mind. Like he doesn't even know he has a bad toupee.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I'm just trying to say, like, this is why it's going to accelerate, right?
Oh yes, now I know. I agree. Gone,
the culture war is going to accelerate and fizzle out, like the woke side.
I don't think it's going to fizzle out.
Well, it's because they're waking up more people to what's going on, right?
Well, I just mean in the idea of because it's not just the woke people we have going. We have the rioters and everything. The rioters fucking hate the current administration.
Yeah.
There's three different people. There's three different factions going at it now.
Dude, I worked with a guy who didn't even know about the Portland riots. Right,
because the news cycle never talked about it.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. But now that the news cycle, but he hated Trump, right? He didn't hate him, but he didn't like Trump.
Yeah,
right. So what I'm trying to say is, like, now that Trump's not in the news cycle, the riots are more in the news cycle. You now hear about you hear about them more. You don't hear about them to the degree they deserve, but you hear about them more. And that's what I'm trying to say. People are going to start waking up to the fact that, well, shit's getting worse under Biden in the woke sense, right? There's, they're going to go to school. And they're going to find out that the school is telling their kids that because they're white, they're bad. Yeah. Right? They're going to go to, and like Trump was doing things against this, and now that he's gone.
Not well enough, but yes.
Yeah. So I'm just, I personally expect that the wokeness thing is going to burn itself out. And second of all, the other thing is that when these SJWs don't have targets, they target each other because eventually you're not woke enough. Right?
Well, as I said, oh, well, no. The funny thing is, even when they do have other targets, they still target themselves because of the standards that they uphold.
Yeah. They have such high standards that they can't help but target each other.
They have impossible standards.
Yeah.
It's not high standards. It's impossible.
That, and it's like they try to occupy niches, right? There's a few of these cases where, like, one SJW will be in, like, their own niche, and then somebody else will come and try to take that niche, and they'll start muscling each other out for, like, no, I'm the offended, or the most oppressed here. This is my space. This is my space because I'm oppressed.
Yeah, like, they turn into the min-maxers from Dungeons and Dragons, and they pull out their pen and their paper. They check down every little thing, every little characteristic they have. What are your gender pronouns? He, him, or she, it.
Yeah, this makes me more oppressed. This is a +3. Yeah,
it's like they're writing down everything. Whatever.
Bitch, please, that's only a +2 at best.
Effectively it's what their Twitter bios are.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen the Twitter bios of some of these people? He, him, she, it. Yeah. Some slogan like Black Lives Matter, All Lives Matter, Asian Lives Matter. It's like they're fucking. It's like
I was hanging out with a friend this weekend. All right, let me finish.
No, it's fine. It's the lag. That's all. Okay. It's just like
I was hanging out with a friend this weekend. He was flipping through Tinder, and like I've never browsed Tinder, but I was looking over his shoulder, and like he flips to one 30-year-old woman. Fucking first line, BLM/ACAB. I'm like, oh man, she sounds like a winner right there, man. Yeah. Like it's.
Black Lives Matter, ACAB. Swipe left.
Yeah, it's like. I mean. But anyway, what I'm trying to say, now that they don't have Trump to hate, they're going to start targeting each other more often. Not all the time, of course, but it's going to happen more often because they have less of a target, right? Who are they going to go after? Mitch McConnell, right? Like they do a little bit, but
Mr. Oh God! See, the funny thing is about going after Mitch McConnell. Mitch McConnell is so fucking laid back. He's such a fucking rhino. He works with the Democrats. He doesn't stand up to them. He's like the old man coming along to the hooligans, destroying the city. It's like, hey, whoa there, little fellows. Why don't you just stop destroying this part of the city and leave me alone?
Yeah.
And it's like, what the fuck are you? It's like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude?
Yeah.
But it's basically, it's like, just leave this alone, but go and destroy the rest. Like, fuck off, dude.
Yeah. It's a weird future we've ended up in, and
oh God, I don't.
But at the same time, like it's if it doesn't get better, it's at least going to be hilarious. Like watching these people eat each other alive it's going to be hilarious. Because again, eventually you're not woke enough.
I meant to click on the one above him, but then he fucking posted that, and I clicked on that one. I meant to click on this one.
Man to a woman, that's our Lord and Master.
And his name is Foamy. You know who? You know what I'm talking
Foamy
about,
the
right?
Squirrel.
You're Lord. I'm sorry, Glinzer. I saw Lord and Master. I'm like Foamy.
Oh,
holy shit! What do you think? We're gonna call it. Go on.
I'm just trying to say that things are going to get better.
Of course they'll get better.
It's going to take maybe a few more months, but these people are not happy with each other. They don't like each other, right?
I don't know. My
they say they're allies. They say they're allies, but they're not.
My main concern isn't necessarily the woke culture bullshit. That will fizzle out. My main concern is the fucking administration itself.
Spending us into oblivion. Yeah. That one's pretty scary.
Did you hear about the April? Oh, yeah. No, we're probably gonna keep going. I think because we got another topic. But hey, I'm glad you enjoyed it. But have you heard about? Did you hear about the April jobs report?
April jobs report? Yeah, it's bad.
2021.
Yeah.
Well, I think it amounts to it's like they said 226,000 jobs were created.
Yeah,
roughly. But here's the thing: there's like I don't know. I think I read in a few different places like the average number of jobs that are open are like 7.1 million.
Yeah.
Like there are 7.1 million. You know, there's a lot of open places, but only 226,000 were filled in April. Like.
Yeah, I see a lot of job openings as I drive around.
Oh,
right?
So do I. But it's like I saw that, and because it brings up the point. It's like when you think about that, it's like places are there are plenty of state, like at least 20, 30 some odd states are opening back up or easing back their restrictions.
Man, if I had that many options when I was fucking younger, I would be fucking pissing myself happy. But I remember searching for a job and fucking hating it because I ended up working at shitty places like Books a Million.
Yeah, because everybody was filled and they didn't have a lot of work. But it's just one of those things. Like you see that, and then it's like, okay, well, there's actually room for economic growth because all of these places need jobs, need people to work, but there's not people in the market, and the biggest reason why unemployment benefits.
Yeah.
And this is what I was going to get into. Now that I thought about it, it's like when you look at this, they're extending the unemployment benefits. Like people are making more on unemployment for not working than actually being at work.
Yeah,
and it's like people are incentivized to not work. And when you actually look at the optics of all this is the biggest indictment of the idea of universal basic income.
Oh yeah.
It just when you look at the optics, think about it. A lot of people say UBI is a good idea because it'll help people get by in addition to working. I'm like, motherfucker, if you offer people money to just for the sake of money and they don't have to work to get that money, they will fucking take that money.
I mean,
and work.
I've worked retail a lot, and I can tell you I've seen the laziest in a lot of people.
I
mean, there's always good people. Don't get me wrong, but like I've seen like one of my favorite ones is like I worked at Walmart, and oftentimes people would like buy the track phone cards, and rather than fucking add it themselves, they'd be like, "Hey, can you put this on for me?" Like I have all the time in the world, and sometimes I do, and I usually put them on, but at the same time they didn't want to learn to do it because they're fucking lazy.
Yeah,
and it's just like that just speaks to like how some people act, and it's like. Yeah, do it for me, right? Oh, if you're going to do it for me, I never have to learn and never have to improve. Yeah.
It's like
it's like when I help people out with things, I make them do things by themselves. I don't just do your things for you.
And it's like this is the biggest. When you think about it, it's like this is the fucking largest indictment of universal basic income. It's like when you think about what's going on, that's what we have. And all of these people, are making these taking these benefits, effectively making like what would be $16 an hour. Yeah. They're not working. This money isn't coming from taxpayers. I mean, technically it is, but it's not stuff that they already have in the bank. It's not anything we've already paid in. This is stuff they're printing.
Yeah.
They're creating the currency out of fucking nothing, and they're pushing it into the system.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's like you guys are. It's like inflating. It's basically adding more currency to a system that has nobody. Giving currency to people that aren't producing anything.
Yeah.
And the more money you give them to get by, the more people are not working, and the less they're producing. It's like, this is like fucking economics, 101.
Yeah.
The idea of current people say, the government should pay, should at least offer something. It's like, you guys do realize that money is more, not necessarily fictional, but is just a commodity to trade for labor.
Yeah.
Like the money itself isn't necessarily valuable. It's what it represents in terms of the labor.
Yeah.
Like you're paying, it's like you're trading, hey, universal currency. I'll give you this if you'll do this for me, and you can use that to trade for somebody else to get labor.
Yeah.
It's like
it's getting ridiculous. But it can't last forever. Biden even realizes this. Biden's handlers realize this, at least.
It's going to crash. It's going to crash and burn hard, and we're all going
to. I was hoping to get a house next year, but I don't think it's going to happen given the economy. Housing keeps going up and up and up and up and up. And
lumber is up 600%.
Yeah.
Like literally, the cost of lumber is going up. The cost of buildings is going up. Once this hits the cost of corn, we're fucked. Yeah. Everything will go up.
Yeah.
Because food, people, not because people eat corn, but because corn is used to feed livestock.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think we're getting a little burnt out. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna go get something to eat, and I'm probably gonna come back and play Resident Evil Village a little bit later. But I appreciate you showing up. Again, we kind of ran out of our ideas pretty early, but it was a good night. It was fun.
I'm still recovering from school. Like I was a zombie last week, but now I'm like better.
No, it's fine, man. I was a fucking like half-assed zombie coming out of work today, so it's like. But anyway, I appreciate y'all.
Corn pop.
That's amazing. That needs to be on a t-shirt. Yeah. But I suppose before I start yelling, I care about holy shit. Thank you guys for showing up. I greatly appreciate it. We had a good run. We actually got up to 8-10 viewers, something like that.
Nice.
But hey, it's great.
I'll think of more topics here at some point now that I have brain cells to dedicate to like not school.
I was a bit behind the 8 ball today. It's like, okay, I don't have much to talk about. I didn't have anything to laugh about today. Yeah. So it's
just to let you know, the next class that's coming up is actually like literally the shit I do every day. So like other people are like, I don't know about this. I'm like, dude, that's embedded programming. That's this guy.
It's like, he's gonna have fun with it.
Yeah, learn some computer engineering, bitch.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, I've been doing that a lot in Fortnite, by the way, like Gangnam Style. They have that as a dance.
Yeah.
As an emote in Fortnite.
I've never actually seen the video, but I saw in another video that the song is actually like a criticism of the culture of the Gangnam area.
I don't understand Korean, but yes, something like that. But yeah, I play Fortnite with Dadman and FS Fat Steven.
Oh.
And
sorry.
It's like
I'm sorry you play Fortnite.
It's fun with them. I don't play it on my own. I will not play it on
guys,
my own.
Don't.
No. It's one of those games. It's like the thing is, I don't play necessarily because I enjoy killing people. I play because, and you can ask Dadman, you can ask FS and everything. They enjoy the fact that I will go on rants and start yelling and screaming at people in the middle of the game. Okay. They get a kick out of it for some reason.
That's
and
awesome.
everybody that we play with, FS, AGP, I think
Nice.
it's Amanda G presents on Twitter. Watching buttons get pushed. Yeah, there you go. It's like all of this, and it's like I will drop F-bombs, all the fucking time, and these people will just start cackling out of nowhere, just like like what is so funny?
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right, bro. I got to go on a bike ride so I can lose my fat.
Fucking Christ. All right. But yeah, we're going to end this here. Thank y'all for sticking around and listening to us rant and rave and argue over Marvel Cinematics. This is like what we spent like 20, 30 minutes on. But anyway, we will catch you all later. Oh, and keep the dog off the leash. Can't forget to say it. Oh, wait. Get in the car.
Get in the car.
Get in the car.
Get in the car. Get in the car.
Get in the car. There's a guy that FS and them plays with. I think his name's Ash Club 7 or something like that. That's what they call him now. British UK guy, and it's like there was one time it was like FS was yelling at him to get in the car, and he just wouldn't fucking get in the car. It's like it's become a joke. Like, yep, he can't drive.
Jeez.
But anyway, we'll catch you all later.